wrapped in behind him. Why didn't the driver ever slow down? Take a look what Adrian Perez is doing instead. He pulls out his cell phone and starts texting, and not just for a few seconds. For 6 minutes leading up to the crash, Perez was looking down, and when he finally focuses on the road, he's way too late. Now he's alert, and he knows he's in trouble.
Alright, so how many of you guys are guilty of being that guy right there? Be honest. Because interestingly enough, in that class survey that I passed out to you guys, although 100% of us have obviously agreed that texting is dangerous when you're driving, 84% of us admit to still texting while driving. And just this example within our own classroom, you can see how serious this problem is, how serious this form of driver distraction it is. It's something we've gotten so used to, and we tend to just overlook it. In the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in 2008, driver distraction caused 16% of all fatal crashes, which is 5,800 people killed, and 21% of all crashes that involved injury. So there was about 515,000 people that were injured. Although driver distraction includes things from eating while you're driving, drinking, putting your makeup, doing your hair, I'm going to focus on texting because it is a very popular, it's increasingly popular, especially with our technology today. So the 4 main points that I would like to make today about texting and driving is obviously the dangers of texting and driving. The second one is, I call it the being aware but don't care theory, how we're aware of it, the dangers, but we tend to just ignore it. The third point is how many might argue that texting is okay as long as you're at a stoplight. So we'll get to that. And the fourth point is what we can do to prevent these accidents from happening. According to Edgar Snyder and Associates, which is a law firm representing injured people, just by reaching for your phone, you are 1.4 times more likely to get in a car accident, just by reaching for that phone. In a study conducted by Virginia Tech Transportation Institution, every 6 seconds of driving time, a driver sending a text message spends about 4.6 of those seconds with their eyes off of the road. 4.6 seconds, that's a lot because it only takes a split second for something to happen and an accident can occur. And a lot of you, or maybe you guys do know, are aware of how texting and driving has actually been compared to drunk driving. In a test study performed by Car and Driver magazine, at the legal driving limit of 0.08% blood alcohol content, going at 70 miles per hour, this test subject, which they did the test 5 times, he traveled an extra distance. The extra distance traveled before coming to a full stop. When he was drunk, it was 4 feet. But when he was texting, it was 70 feet. 4 feet and 70 feet, that is way, very, very huge difference, right? So you can see that it can be, depending on the circumstance, more dangerous than drunk driving, or just as dangerous as drunk driving. Secondly, although we are aware of the hazards of texting, it's obvious we know that it's dangerous. Why do we still do it, right? In a 2011 teen driving survey by Students Against Destructive Decisions and Liberty Mutual Insurance, 53% of 2,294 high school students admitted to texting while driving some of the time. That's 52%, that's more than half of them. And 28% of those high school students admit to texting often while driving. And as I stated earlier, our own class results showed 84% of us admit to texting and driving. And the numbers are just really crazy. So why do you think we do this? According to Kevin Murr, an assistant professor of sociology at California State University, sociologists call this problem the pluralistic ignorance. It is the idea that reality applies to everyone else but me. It's the idea that we are better, the idea that we're better, but in reality we're actually the same. We're the same. We have the chances of us getting into an accident is as great as everyone else. We tend to think that we're invincible and that, oh, you know, I've been driving for so many years. I've been driving and texting for so many years. It's not gonna happen to me because I'm a pro, right? That's what we tend to think. And although we may be a good driver, we must realize that it only takes a split second for something to come out of our way, for something to happen. Although we're a good driver, we need to realize that texting requires 2 eyes off of the road, 1 hand off of the wheel, and only partial attention to driving. It can happen to any of us. Don't be selfish and think that you're a great driver because your attention is not, your full attention isn't in the driving. You still, like, other people can come and do things. Other people can come next to you and almost crash into you, and you wouldn't be prepared for it because you're not paying attention. Now we may be thinking, it's not always dangerous, right? I only do it at stoplights. I'm just, not me. I'm just saying, that's what we may be thinking. We may think that texting at a stoplight is harmless because we're at a complete stop. We're not moving, so it should be okay, right? Well, in the article, Cell Phone Use While Driving and Employer Liability, attorney Todd Clement states that it is still unsafe because we still have responsibilities while we're at a stoplight. We still have to know what's going on around us. We have to be aware of our surroundings, and we have to respond properly when we receive that signal. By texting at a stoplight, things like people rear-ending us can still happen. We can create road rage happening, and just to avoid even just minor road rage. I know we don't want to encounter it, even though it's something little, so you might as well just avoid it. Just avoid texting altogether when you're driving. And the things that we can do to prevent these accidents and future deaths from happening, we need patience. We need to learn to be patient and wait till our drive is over so we can text. If it's an urgent text, you can always pull over safely to the side. If there's a passenger next to you, you can ask them to text for you or to read it for you. And altogether, we just have to put it in our heads that texting is not worth the risk. One text message is not worth the risk of your life, the lives of other drivers. You don't want to put others' lives at stake. Because personally for me, even though I've gotten into a car accident, it was a pretty big car accident, but even though it wasn't from texting, it still, after the it was a really traumatizing experience for me after that accident. I was scared to drive for the longest time. Even now, I'm still really nervous when I'm driving. I can't imagine myself driving with distractions around me after that accident because you really don't want to put yourself in that situation where you're at fault for someone, for the damage of their car or their life. So it's something you don't want to go through at all. So, and it's easily preventable. So, why not? why not just don't text? So I've given you guys some statistics of how dangerous texting can be. We've seen that we need to acknowledge that we can be, I guess, hypocritical in a way, or we tend to think that we're really invincible and think that we're perfect at multitasking. But we should really stop thinking that way. And we've also seen how even at a stoplight, texting it can still be very dangerous. So we just all need to stop texting and driving to prevent future deaths, to prevent accidents from happening, to save lives. Let's put an end to future car accidents so that, because it's so easily avoidable in the first place. Don't wait until it's too late in order to learn the lesson. Let's all put in effort and stop texting and driving right now.